Hey everybody, how's it going? I've gotten the opportunity to take a look at The Outer Worlds 2, which is Obsidian's upcoming space comedy RPG thing. It's a game that's very much in the template of its predecessor, which in and of itself is in a similar kind of more manageable template, a version of the, kind of Bethesda template, you know what I mean? That first person game with a bunch of stats and role playing and all of that sort of stuff. They're coming out end of October. And so I believe this is what they showed at Gamescom, which makes sense because I wasn't sure what I was playing when I first started it. There's a list of things like, hey, don't show this and all of that, and don't show anything past this certain point. And I started playing it last night because I'm like, oh, I should probably play some of this and not just go into it live because I don't know where this stuff is, or not live, but you know what I mean. It's a very short demo. It's a very short. It's a trade show demo. I mean, honestly, this is like it's kind of interesting. It's weird playing something like this in my home, because usually things this short, this kind of like quick slice, is meant for like, hey, you've got a 20-minute appointment to see the game and then interview the devs and this and that, and it's like a very kind of bang 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 thing. So we're kind of starting just after character creation and just kind of after the kind of initial starting, preamble here, because there's things in the beginning of the game that, they don't necessarily want shown. And there's stuff not too far in here that is, kind of our limit for talking about the game. There may also be one cut in the middle here, due to a thing that happens. Things happen in a video game and they don't want these things shown, which I get it. It's a fun little sequence, but this is kind of the, in a lot of ways, sort of the prologue. I'm interested in a game like this. I think Obsidian is making the versions of this genre that I'm most interested in, because I think that these games, the way the Bethesda tends to make them, they're making these big blown out adventures with all of this stuff and travel everywhere, and if there's interesting stuff there or not is up for debate, I suppose. But like they're trying to make something that is much larger and weirder in scope, whereas I feel like the Obsidian take on this with the Outer Worlds 1 and the other stuff they've done, around it, I think that they're making the tighter version of that experience, the more focused version of that experience. And so it still has, you're still going around to different areas and doing different things and taking on a lot of different quests, and there's factions and stuff to contend with, but just ever so slightly reined in scope in a way that I think, again, as someone who, I'm not necessarily interested in Skyrim mods, like I know that's a huge thing, and the size and scope of that game behooves it to have a zillion mods. I think the stuff that Obsidian is making doesn't necessarily lend itself as well to that sort of treatment, but I think that's right up my alley, if that makes any sense. What you're about to see, again, is kind of the beginning of the game. It's, it's got some, I'm going to play it here, and there's shooting. I think the shooting feels really good, but we'll get into that as we go. Why don't we switch over here, and I will unpause it, and we'll play some video games here. We're running here on the PC with pretty much everything turned up. And at the start of the game, we are on this ship.
Got a moment? Hi. Agent Pascal told me to bring you your new model tactical time dilation device. They say these newfangled ones cost no, that ain't right. 10.25% less brain damage than the old ones. Yeah, impressive, huh? Way it seems to make everything move slower still feels a little weird to me, but they tell me I'll get used to it. They say the way it works is like, well, you know how parts of your brain can become damaged if you're in suspended animation too long?
Don't I know it?
It kind of does the same thing. Didn't I just say? But this way, you don't have to risk extended hibernation. That can kill you, you know. The lab coats swear this way's perfectly safe. Science is amazing, ain't it? Listen to me, rambling on. So, well, anyway, here you go. Look, Commander, truth be told, I asked to deliver it to you. I was just hoping to get a moment to ask you for a pointer or two, you know, on how to be a great agent like yourself. Because, well, you're a legend. And the other agents, well, let's just say they disagree on just how I should go about it.
So up to this point, you know, we've gone through character creation. You've kind of done, you know, you've picked an origin story. I think what I have picked here is ex-convict, where I'm working for the Earth Directorate as a result of wanting to not be in jail. And then there's some stats and things that you can choose to specialize in, which, you know, is where you're kind of going to get at your early hacking skills or speech check skills, or, you know, stuff that I think is pretty typical for the genre.
Well, Pascal likes to joke around, but I think she's being sincere when she says it's all about looking out for the people who can't defend themselves. Sandoval says he's got no time for weakness. He says we gotta save people because they're too stupid to save themselves, and that we have righteousness on our side. And Gerstmann, well, you know him. He don't talk much. So, what do you think? Yeah, there's some advice worth taking to heart.
Been a handful of choices here that have shown that this will be remembered thing when you're talking to people.
Oh, I almost plumb forgot to
you know.
It's near time for Agent Vries to establish contact. She's like you, top tier, one of the Earth Directorate's best.
As I'm sitting here watching this, I'm realizing that there is a decision point later on in this sequence
Call should come through at the console.
that I didn't do last time. So I might just choose the other side, and it's like a go this way if you want stealth, or go this way if you want not stealth. Of course, I didn't pick a stealth character per se, but wander around a little bit, see what we see. I think it's got a nice look to it, just design wise. I think there's a lot of like retro futuristic type things that I think can be a little overwrought, and I think that they do a pretty good job with the style of things here. You know, the weird cartridges and terminals
are currently located in your cabin.
Don't worry, you're not the only one who needs their gray matter rewired after hibernating our way through skip space, Commander.
That's sure faster than taking the stairs.
All right, our door is jammed here. Well, I picked engineering, so let's see if we can. Yay! So that's, you know, because I picked engineering, I didn't have to go through this weird tunnel back way, which is, you know, the immersive sim stylings of there's a tunnel, or did you take the right skill, or are you going to kill people, or did you pick the right skill? All right, let's do this.
Commander, considering the danger and consequence of the mission we're about to undertake, I hope you'll forgive the lack of pleasantries. Arcadia is ruled by a dictatorship that calls itself the Protectorate. They are beyond secretive. However, it is their inability to even imagine that someone could infiltrate their system that has given us an advantage. One I've found a way to exploit spectacularly. As unbelievable as it may sound, once you make your way to my location in the Skip Labs, we will be liberating an unsealed Skip core.
So, you know, I like that they highlight this stuff. And when you don't have the right background stuff, they show you what you're missing, which I am always of two minds about. It's when games do that.
seals are just there to conceal the inner workings of the drive so no one else can duplicate them. Examining an unsealed
On one hand,
is
it's nice to
valuable
see
in
like, oh,
helping our
if I
efforts figure out
play
how
this
they
game
caused
again
the
and
rift.
go back this
But
way,
you'll
I could
first need to make your way to
take
the
this
station
different
proper from
character
the landing pad.
path and maybe do this instead or whatever. But also, I don't know that I find myself replaying a ton of games like this more than once, and so I find that that makes me want to just spec hard enough in hacking and lockpicking and like let me see stuff, the traits that let you see more stuff, charm for speech checks, and I find that's always the way I play these games, is to go down those traits and in favor of seeing more of the game, as opposed to like you're stronger and you can hit people harder or whatever.
Hopefully so. Our mission's timing is fortuitous. Most of the sector security was reassigned to the far side of the station in preparation for the imminent visit of their sovereign's family. They decommissioned several landing pads, including ours, to give them fewer points of entry to guard, giving us fewer chances to be intercepted. You'll just need to reroute power to open the door to the sector once you've landed. Once you gain access to the sector, you'll need to shut down their communications to keep them from alerting anyone to our presence. Then, you'll need to handle their combat mechs.
Yeah, so we can't even see what these options are, which I think that's a good way to handle it, I guess, if you really want to kind of show that there's an option here, but only if you went in that direction,
Likely you'd need to find a control terminal to access. If you can, though, shutting them down before they even know you're there is advisable. They're relentless and well-armored. I've managed to leave caches of tools and intel for you throughout the sector. I'd take advantage of all of them, were I you. This may sound simple, but I cannot stress this enough. Do not underestimate the danger we face.
Come on, Agent. Haven't you heard? We're the best and brightest. We infiltrate corrupt governments before breakfast most days.
Do you think this is some kind of joke? The Protectorate are the worst of the worst and will not hesitate to string you up if you're caught, if you're lucky. They think nothing of regularly chemically lobotomizing their own subjects for even the slightest error. Your life isn't the only one at risk here.
All right,
Don't tell me to calm down. You know what I've sacrificed? What I'm prepared to sacrifice still? I've spent the better part of a year laying the groundwork for this mission. I don't need a team led by some convict fouling it up.
oh, see, I didn't take speech, so
For now, unlike you or your team, I am a professional. Whether I like it or not, you are the commanding officer.
So the speech option, if you had chosen speech, is reminding her that, like, hey, I'm the commanding officer here. Shut the fuck up. And
Once you land, I'll patch in over comms and guide you through the sector.
Augustine! I mean, Agent Vries. I just wanted to say we're all looking forward to working with you.
Who? Niles? Is that you? Law, what are you doing here?
also, they all say, I forgot this, that
I'm
there's,
an agent.
I believe that
First
happens
son.
in the first game.
Suppose
It's
I
been a
look
while.
different now.
That people just say the word law like they were saying,
No more solid
damn,
fuel neither.
law, what the fuck are you,
Wait
you
to
know,
see
like,
you once this is over, Agent. And good luck.
Same to you, Ibarra. DeVries out.
Navigator's warmed up in the cockpit, Commander. Whenever you're ready to fly us in.
all right, let's go to the planet and do the thing. Yeah, I think they do like their version of that kind of sci-fi empires and old-timey terminals combined with space stuff. I think that they I like their general kind of art style here. The previous game, I think, was good with that stuff as well.
Commander, Abara and I will secure the building down here, while you're upstairs restoring power to the door.
Okay. But what if I looked around for food and stuff?
That smell. Did a sprat get flash fried in here?
All right, we got the fuse here.
The electrical system misfired somehow. Security's been triggered. This needs to be dealt with quickly.
As unable to function due to death. Expiring without permission will result in demerits being assigned. Greetings, subject. Return to your assigned duties.
Okay.
Or demerits.
Commander, we finished our sweep. I'd wager we could use the intercom to call for help, Commander. Must be a guard around here somewhere who can shut the mechs down.
Sure.
Screen's broken, so should be nothing to pass yourself off as one of their own.
Or we could try shutting them down ourselves. I spied some controls just past the gate that looks like they operate the mechs.
Always a good idea to have a cover story.
That'll work out. Might need this here to hack your way through.
But yeah, you know, obviously very tutorial oriented, like showing you the upcoming choices at your disposal. Okay.
Cadet Warden 4th Class Corbin receiving. It's a glorious day in the Protectorate. How can I serve? Wait a moment. You're calling from landing pad 0-53? That's listed as decommissioned. And yet the defenses have come online? Please be so kind as to inform me of your name and ID number so that I may report you for this infraction. And hurry, please. The transmission of the Sovereign's family's arrival will start any moment. I can scarce afford the demerits missing it would entail.
Okay, so let me just tell him.
Mallory? Oh, now I understand. I'd heard you were, that your condition wasn't, optimal. What? I know I shouldn't be asking this, but what was it like? The mental refreshment?
Oh, I could go for a nice mental refreshment these days.
No! I mean, yes! Of course I would. Willingly. Were I to fail to adequately fulfill my duties to the Sovereign and the Protectorate, I am pleased you have been returned to us as a fully functioning subject. Sorry. I can't risk being sentimental. Forget I said that. It is my duty.
So because I didn't have speech, I wasn't able to complete this. I wasn't able to talk my way past him with those options. So
I have nothing to say to you. Leave me be.
the guy said there were controls just past the gate. Oh, I'm guessing that's... No, that's our objective to go forward here. Is that them over there? There we go.
Rerouting power did the trick, Commander. All peace and quiet here now.
Let's not waste time congratulating ourselves.
Kind of crafting materials, I suppose, for a lot of this stuff.
Commander, the situation is becoming more fluid than I'd originally planned for. We've got to change our approach. Split the team to handle
Good to know Vries is consistently on edge. Wasn't just me. You'd think she'd never been on a mission before. Everyone knows fluid's about the best you can hope for. Well, sitting here jawing ain't gonna accomplish much. Looks to be central dispatch on the
So
way.
I went central dispatch last time, which is, you know,
Take
you
it, Commander. We'll hit the other.
you smoke some dudes, and it's pretty straightforward. So let's try security ops.
Your choice. Abar and I'll take central dispatch, then meet you at the skip labs. We'll stay well out of trouble, won't we, Cadet?
That's right. Like you told me, Commander, everyone's well-being depends on our success. If whatever's going on here is as bad as the Chief thinks, then we'll make an end of it.
Right. Well, then, notwithstanding Abar's enthusiasm here, or Vries' concerns over fluidity, I'm fairly certain we've got this under control. Rest easy, Commander.
Okay. I wonder what would happen if I went that way. Well, maybe I'll find that out. All right.
Security ops is heavily guarded, so be vigilant. You'll need to shut down security measures once you're inside. I've left a drop for you in the watch post. There's a key to a maintenance tunnel you can follow into the building.
Okay, so that seems like that's probably the tunnel, if and when I find this key. Okay, that was the key also. Okay. Is there anything over here? Does sound nice. Does sound nice. All right.
Jensen and I are in position above the sector, Commander. Path's been cleared. Only encountered one guard. Dealt with. Should have seen it. Wasn't pretty.
As long as it was done righteously in the name of the Earth Directorate. Right, Sandoval?
I wouldn't stand too close to the airlock when we're back on the ship, Pascal.
Why? Is there something wrong with the airlock?
That guy's real dumb. Naive, maybe, is the word. Oh. Okay. Yep. Suspicious. Turn to face. Okay. I mean, I feel like I could just... Yeah, you know, pretty standard stealth system type stuff. But I want to see if there's anything over here. Okay.
I've stashed a knife in the maintenance access for you, with, instructions on how to use it to quietly bypass the guards.
Knife instructions. have what we need to get in there. I thought there was... Wait, where's the... Disable security controls. Okay. Oh, so... I see. Let's equip the knife. Yeah. So, you know, kind of standard melee stuff. If you hold it down, you will charge up a stronger attack. A power attack or whatever. And if you hit guys from behind with it, you know, stealth stuff happens. Let's do stealth stuff to this guy. Yep. We stealthed him. You just got stealthed. All right.
Have you seen Mallory since their return? The state they're in. Sadly. Yes. It is sad that they weren't worthy.
They'd have had the strength and constitution to emerge a better subject, more able to fight.
The gun works pretty good too. You know, you also have, you know, it's the thing that the guy gave us at the beginning of the game, but this slow motion, you see the meter in the lower right draining as we're hitting it, and, you know, that feels like something that is largely in here, at least in this introductory bit, right? This feels like something that's largely in here for people who don't play shooters. Let's eject the okay, let's decrypt the access code and get whatever this is. I don't know. Seems like something that might be important. A lot of cigarettes and lighters in this game. This is like vendor trash. That's a big robot. Rewire targeting module. Well, okay. Let's copying routines. This can be used to reprogram auto mechanicals throughout the station. Okay, so we don't have a lockpick 1, so we can't actually use those lockpicks. Okay. Nothing in these lockers. Okay, nothing over here. Let's keep going. As far as like equipping and stuff, you have 2 weapon slots. It looks like you can eventually have as many as 4 weapons equipped. And there are armor slots and things of that nature.
Devices in a floor panel by the scaffolding. Use them to breach the control room. Just wait until their guns are pointing away from your position.
Distraction device. Okay.
How's the family? Had to turn them in. You know,
we also have this inhaler that we can use to restore health.
Didn't bother me, I assure you.
the matriarch we don't live in one of those
I think I was probably supposed to use the knife here, you know? But I am feeling bold. Oh, this is... Okay, so... All right, so we have rewired the robots to be on our side, which means they're gonna...
Commander, this wasn't part of the plan. You were to shut down the mechs, not raise further alarm. Get outside and reconvene your team.
You suck. She sucks. She's no fun at all. All right, we read all those. Money and bullets. Okay, so there's nothing... Okay, here we have a... elevator.
We're en route to the comms control module. Just need to deal with these guards, quiet-like.
You get these little Half-Life wall doctor stations here that will refill your health and give you some more inhaler charges in case you need any later. All right, these guys are down with me now. On the other side, so we used a propaganda cartridge that we had just from the beginning of the game to reprogram them, and if you take the other route, you can use that cartridge to start like you can replace their propaganda broadcast with yours, which also kind of sends everybody into a frenzy and a bit of chaos. And the lady yells at you the same way, basically saying like, "Hey,
give us a minute. Something's not right."
To do that, and I think this is going to be the end of our time here. But yeah, you can replace this with the kind of Earth, with the Earth propaganda broadcast here. If you have that cartridge and you go the other way because the machine's on the other side. But yeah, I think we're coming up on the thing that they don't want shown, so I think we're gonna stop here. So yeah, you know, it's a pretty short demo. You know, you can run through it twice and see each of the sides to it. But they're both paths are about that long. It's enough to make me feel pretty good about like the quality of the shooting. You know, inventory and UI is pretty solid, and you know the choices. Again, like these are games about how do you spec your character and what sort of choices do you take with you as you go, and how do you spec further along the way to make sure that you can open doors and safes and get access to things and, you know, see more of the game. That to me, that's always the way that I'd play this style of game, right? Is to spread myself extremely thin and make sure that I can see as much as it seems like I can. And then by the end of the game, you're never spec'd in one direction far enough. So you're like, well, there's really hard locks here that I can't open, but I can speech check with the best of them and, you know, like whatever else. But unless you're just going to grind, some games will let you, you know, take every path, right? So I don't think there's anything like, you know, from what they're showing here, and I think from what they've said about the game, you know, I don't think there's anything particularly like earth-shattering, you know, like you know, they're not rewriting the rules of the genre as far as I can tell. which is fine. I think that, like Obsidian's, they put out like 2 of these so close to when did Avowed come out? That was that's February of this year. So for them to have like the fantasy one and the sci-fi one come out in the same year is kind of bonkers. But I will say that, some of it is just because of the subject matter and the writing and the overall setting. Like I gravitate more towards kind of sci-fi stuff than fantasy stuff to begin with. So I really liked Avowed, but this is kind of speaking to me in a more direct way. I liked the Outer Worlds one quite a bit too, but the thing I always say whenever that game comes up, so you've maybe heard me say this before, is that the Outer Worlds has a really good first third or so. Like the first chunk, the first big story, the first act of that game is great. And the writing and the situations that you're put in after that, you kind of go from one planet to the next and solve a few different problems on your way to the ultimate conclusion. The things that you get into after that are just not nearly as good as the opening handful of hours. And so that sort of unevenness is the thing that is that game's downfall. It's still like a good game, and I'm glad that they are following up on it with more kind of set in that universe. And some time has passed, and you'll see the situation with the different corporations and things seem to have shifted a bit based on some stuff that you see in the intro. So my hope is that this is just more consistent overall. That would be a lot if they could match the quality of the first third of the Outer Worlds 1 throughout the entirety of Outer Worlds 2. Then I think that this is going to be a heck of a sequel. And what they're showing here, I think it's you do get a sense of, and if we had speech checks and stuff, there's a couple of instances where you're talking your way past people. One that's kind of on the other side of the line of stuff that we're not showing here. That is some of my favorite stuff to do in these games. To bamboozle people, talk your way past them, talk your way out of combat. I think that stuff is just fun. Bypassing it by like, I can hack a door and walk around this encounter or whatever, or hack a terminal. Hacking a terminal to turn the guys on their own guys is maybe a close second to speeching them. Y'all got speeched. But the I crawled through a tunnel so I didn't have to do this other thing. That is maybe my least favorite way to proceed in a lot of games like this, or things that are more immersive sim-like. I guess this qualifies for that in some ways, but I guess this kind of checks a lot of the kind of sim boxes. But I don't know. Like these games seem, again, fairly derivative of the Bethesda template. But I guess like in thinking about it, like this game does provide you with the bouncer, the tunnel around back, the different ways to attack any situation that all of those games seem to traffic in. But yeah, a short and sweet demo. I'm left wanting more, which is, I think, probably says something good about where they're going with it. It's nice to have some confirmation that they're kind of, on the right track with this stuff. I think that, there's, again, the demo, what you're not seeing is maybe another 2 combat encounters and one there's basically like one character you talk to that it is one more chance. The guy we talked to at the beginning of the game, you run into him again, and you get to kind of further work him for your needs if you're so equipped. And those are pretty good sequences. They're funny. Like that's, I think one of the things they tried to do with the first game was like establish a solid comedic tone to go alongside it. It's sort of the like gung-ho over the top patriotism. Like that's the large joke they're going for. but also in the first game, it is because of it is less of a political faction and more Spacer's Choice and the kind of corporations as government type thing. Here we're with the Earth Protectorate, which is, much more directly kind of rah-rah politics, rah-rah patriotism type stuff that both of these sides that we're dealing with here in this introductory bit are seemingly super fond of. So I don't know how much of that is going to kind of carry through the rest of the game. I think that type of material, I think, is solid. And there's levels to how well you pull it off and everything. Hopefully they've got a lot more up their sleeve, because I think, Helldivers kind of wore down my personal desire for a lot of that. I think that, again, there's levels to it, and I think Helldivers really uses it at a very high level. Like the game itself is not necessarily about the comedy of those choices per se. I mean, Helldivers is a funny game, but for a lot of different reasons. Helldivers is funny because you called in a nuke on yourself and you did that, it's that type of ridiculous. Unintentional at times. This game is much more explicit with that stuff, I think, and or this universe, I suppose. Not necessarily this game, because I have not played all of this game. But that's something that they're definitely leaning on in some of the trailers and things, is that like that style. It's not quite full Starship Troopers or anything like that, but it is that type of like future corporation tells you that you're doomed and tells you with a smile and tells like that type of thing. We've seen kind of a lot of it, over the years. I think the previous game did a good job with their stuff that hit along those lines. And I think the stuff here in this kind of brief look at the game is solid. It's funny. I don't know, the way they've been presenting it, like I like Ben Schwartz a lot. I think he's really funny. But the Obsidian director of sequels bit that they've did with him twice now, that stuff, I don't know. That's marketing. It's outside the game, and hopefully it's not fully indicative of what they're doing. So I think that some of that stuff is a little weak. But the stuff in game and the stuff that's been in the trailers themselves and stuff, I think that material has worked for me. So I'm left looking forward to it. It's out relatively soon here. I mean, I guess we're 2 months out, just about, because it's, what is it, the 29th? October 29th. So, I mean, we're here at the end of August. So, yeah, a couple months out. So they're probably getting ready to wrap it up and all that stuff. But yeah, this is, again, it was like funny, because you reach a point later on where it kind of ends, and I was like, oh, is this part of are they having it end as part of the story? Because I just thought this was going to be like a full build of the game. But no, it is super not. It is, there's maybe another 7 minutes of material there, I think, from where we stopped. Maybe 10 minutes, but yeah, a real short look at a game, the sort of thing you would, again, just kind of see at a trade show. And it's weirding me out to have a build this, or like a lot of preview builds and stuff, or these days are usually longer. So it is actually kind of nice, to have this like little bite-sized look at it. It's like, oh yeah, it's like I was there. It's like I took the appointment and I was there. So that's fun in its own weird way for me personally. It probably doesn't translate to anybody else, because that's a weird thing. But yeah, I'm left feeling pretty positive on it overall. I think the shooting feels really good. I think the stealth kills and all of that feels the way you want it to feel. The options that it seems like will be at your disposal, just kind of seeing the different kind of skill tree things that they show you, and some of the other stuff you see along the way. I think that stuff looks like it will grow the way you want it to, and yeah, we'll see. We're only a couple months out, so we'll have to kind of wait and see how that all goes. And that's The Outer Worlds 2. we'll check back in on it when it's done, I suppose. And I will see you next time.